a positive thing? How many of us are in some aspect of ministry, and being a wife or a mother is our first vocation in ministry, P.S.? Are we distracted by many things? Are we encumbered? Are we doing too many things in too many directions? I don't know. I know I am. She was always preparing, and she was never present. You cannot replace knowing Jesus by serving him. Fact. So after I was working on this, I'm like, well, then I'm just not preparing anything for tonight. And then Wendy didn't show up to pray over me. It's like, well, this is going to really go well. Lack of intimacy is the #1 reason why people can't minister effectively. Lack of intimacy with the one who gives life, brings healing, brings light, because we're too busy being distracted. Here she goes again. She came to Jesus and said, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her to help me. I did that. So first she's got this distracted heart. Now she's got this whole doubtful heart. And she's saying, like, don't you care? Don't you care, Lord? This happens a lot in my house. Campbell is walking around singing every psalm there is. Happy as can be, and Kennedy's banging dishes, saying, like, don't you care? And I always say, well, Jesus sees it, but I'll tell you what, it's not enough for my daughter that Jesus sees it. And it's not enough for some of us that Jesus sees it, but he sees it. And what Kennedy might do to contribute is no less important, except when she does it with a distracted, a doubtful, or a discouraged disposition. Might as well not be doing it. This constant need of affirmation is synonymous with Judy. Constant need for recognition. Like, Jesus has all of that if we just look to him. Here's what I dig about Martha, though. She went right to him. She went right to him and said, hey, buddy, what up? Tell her. Tell her to help me. Don't you care? How many of us are going through something in life and we are wondering, do you care? Are you there? Then do something about it. St. Augustine used to say, I believe, help my unbelief. Like, of course we believe, until like we're asked to really believe. Right? Then all of a sudden you get a little discouragement, a little doubt, a little distracted. She said this. She went back and called her sister Mary aside. Listen how she talks to Mary, the one who she hated. She was going to throw under the bus last time. The teacher is here, she says. And he's asking for you. And she's not even mad about it, because she is like transformed. She's like a nice person now. That's what happened to me, Beth. Sometimes. When Mary heard this, she got up quickly and went in, because she's totally obedient every time, all the time. Now Jesus had not yet entered the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. When the Jews who had been with Mary in the house comforting her noticed how quickly she got up and went, they followed her. I got to tell you, everybody wants a leader. Like, she got up and they followed her. Maybe she said nothing. But by her disposition, she was someone they wanted to be like. She had something they wanted, and the scripture says, like a moth to a flame, they will know. By the love you show, they will know me. They follow Mary. These were the dumb guys before. When Mary reached the place where Jesus was and she saw him, she fell at his feet and said, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. When Jesus saw her weeping and the Jews who had come along, listen please, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. Where have you laid him, he asked. Come and see, they replied. Jesus wept. Then the Jews said, see how he loved him. Here's Mary again. The first time we see her, she is sitting at his feet, learning, being taught. The second time you see her, she is back at his feet, but now she's falling there. See, she sat willingly before. And now she's falling at his feet in grief saying, could have did something about this. She's calling him the same way Martha did. She questioned the loss, and she was free to grieve. In faith. And you've heard me say it before, 3/5 of the faith is in the wait. They waited. They waited 4 days for a God who loved them to show up. And here's the deal. Jesus was moved in spirit and troubled. You know what? Because he does this with us. Because he cared. Jesus wept. Because the people that he loved had broken hearts. And they were grieving. I'll tell you a little bit about grief. It's a wild ride. You can map its face, you can predict its stages, and you can schedule its duration, unless you're in it. Then you just flail. But if you go to him and say, you could have, you knew, where were you? You'll get some answers.